Hi, my name is Parzan, and I'm going to show you how to check and change your alternator on a 1999 Ford Taurus SE. An alternator converts mechanical energy into electrical energy to power the vehicle's electrical systems. Some symptoms of a bad alternator are that your car starts slowly, your battery light's on, or your headlights are weak. My headlights were weak, so I'm going to test my alternator. To change your alternator, you're going to need a socket wrench, an 8mm socket, an 11mm socket, 13mm socket, a 15mm socket, a 16mm combination wrench, a torque wrench, a flathead screwdriver, and a multimeter. To test your alternator, you're going to need a multimeter. Make sure your multimeter is set to 20 DCV, or direct current voltage. Now take your red wire and connect it to the positive terminal, and your black wire and connect it to the negative terminal. And your reading should be around 12.6. A little bit lower or a little bit higher is fine. Now we've started the car, and you're going to want to test it again. So put your positive side on the positive terminal and your negative side on the negative terminal, and the reading should go up to 14.2 to 14.7. As you can see, the reading did not go up. If your alternator fails the test, make sure all your wires are secure and your serpentine belt is on tight. Mine are, so it looks like it's time for a change. Before doing any electrical work, you're going to want to disconnect your battery. You're going to need an 11mm socket and a socket wrench. Make sure you disconnect the negative terminal first for the ground. And now you can disconnect the positive terminal. The next step is you're going to want to take tension off your serpentine belt so you can get it off the alternator. To do this, take your 16mm combination wrench and put it on the tensioner bolt like this. And then pull towards you to take tension off the serpentine belt and slip the belt off your alternator just like that. Make sure you only take your serpentine belt off the alternator to make it easier when you reinstall. The next step is to take all your wires out from the alternator. To do this, you may need a flathead to pry this wire out, and this wire should come out just like that. To take the output wire out, you may need an 11mm socket and a socket wrench, and it should come out just like this. To remove your alternator mounting bolts, you're going to need a 13mm socket, 15mm socket, and a socket wrench. Take your top one off first with the 15mm socket. Now that your top bolt's off, use your 13mm socket to remove the bottom bolt. And then, just take your alternator out. Now that you got your new alternator, put it back in the car. Take your top bolt and your 15mm and reinsert the bolt. Finger thread and then tighten with a socket wrench before you torque it down. Before it's fully tight, put in your bottom bolt and finger thread that too. Now tighten them both down with the socket wrench. Now take your 13mm and tighten this down. For your big bolt, you need a 15mm socket and tighten it to 22 foot-pounds until you hear the click. For your small one, you're going to need a 13mm socket and tighten it until you hear the click. Now that your alternator is back in place, plug it back in the wires just like this. And for your output wire, take your bolt and a socket wrench with an 11mm socket and finger thread your bolt back in place. Now that it's finger threaded in, use your socket wrench and tighten it. Now torque your battery output wire to 90 inch-pounds. Now that your alternator is back in place, take tension off the serpentine belt so you can put it back on the alternator. Now make sure the belt is placed correctly on all of the pulleys. Lastly, you're going to want to reconnect your battery. Make sure you connect the positive terminal first and tighten until snug. Next, reconnect your negative terminal and tighten this until it's snug too. Now that we've changed our alternator, we're going to test again. Make sure your multimeter is set to 20 DCV. Put your red wire to the positive terminal and your black wire to the negative, and it should show around 12.6. Now that you've started your car, you're going to want to test it again. Put your red wire to the positive terminal and your black wire to the negative terminal, and you should get a reading from about 14.2 to 14.7. As you can see, it's all good. Thank you for watching my step-by-step tutorial on how to change your alternator.